Stop scrolling right now because what I'm about to reveal will change the way you see yourself forever. If you're an older man and you think your best years are behind you, think again. Most men waste their lives chasing youth, trying to impress, trying to look younger than they are, and they fail because they've completely misunderstood what makes a man truly attractive. Today, I'm going to expose 8 signs that instantly prove you are a good-looking older man. And I promise this is not advice you've ever heard before. This isn't about fashion tips, gym hacks, or gimmicks. This is about something far deeper, something that commands attention, respect, and desire without you ever having to say a word. By the end of this video, you're going to realize that age is not your enemy. It's your advantage. You're going to discover the hidden forces that make women and men notice you in a crowded room. The qualities that make you magnetic, even if you've never thought of yourself as good-looking, and the secret traits that younger men spend a lifetime trying to fake. Some of the masculine presence women notice instantly. What I'm about to say will shock you. Some of it will make you uncomfortable, because it's the kind of truth most men are too afraid to hear. But that's exactly why you need to stay until the end if you're ready to see yourself in a way the world has never allowed you to understand what real attractiveness looks like in an older man, and to finally harness it in your life. Then don't click away. Every word, every sign, every insight in this video is a game changer. By the time we finish, you won't just look at yourself the same way. You'll feel it, radiate it, and own it. Let's start with something most men never truly understand. Attractiveness is not a number. It's not a reflection in a mirror. And it certainly isn't measured by how many compliments you get from strangers. The first and most powerful sign that an older man is genuinely good-looking lies in his confidence, his presence, and the way he moves through the world without asking for permission. This is not about arrogance. It is about a quiet, undeniable magnetism that commands attention even in silence. Think about the difference between a young man trying too hard to impress and an older man who simply exists with certainty. One is loud, desperate, and temporary. The other is calm, deliberate, and permanent. There is a force in self-assuredness that transcends youth, body, and even conventional standards of beauty. Confidence in this sense is not a fast aid. It is cultivated through years of experience, triumph, failure, and reflection. It is born from the understanding that life will throw challenges at you, that people will doubt you, and that the world rarely gives permission or applause for your presence. Yet, a man who has walked this path without losing his integrity learns to trust himself, his judgment, and his instincts. This trust radiates outward. People notice it, women notice it, and it is infinitely more compelling than a chiseled jawline or perfectly styled hair. It is the invisible aura that turns heads without a single word. Presence, then, is the natural extension of confidence. To be present is to exist fully in the moment, aware of your why, calm. Confidence is more magnetic with age surroundings. Aware of yourself, aware of the energy you bring into a room. When you enter a space, people feel it. They cannot articulate it, but they are drawn to it. A man with presence does not need to dominate conversations or perform for approval. His energy, calm and grounded, fills the space and others instinctively respect it. Presence is cultivated through mindfulness, through observing the world without constant distraction, through mastering the subtle art of being seen, without forcing it. What most older men fail to realize is that presence and confidence are inseparable. Confidence without presence is arrogance. Presence without confidence is insecurity masters charm. When the two exist together, something extraordinary happens. You no longer compete for attention, you naturally attract it. You no longer seek validation from external sources. The world offers it unbidden because your very being communicates something profound. You are secure in yourself and you are not to be overlooked. This is the kind of power that cannot be bought, inherited, or imitated. Now consider the psychology behind this. Humans are wired to respond to certainty in a chaotic world where people constantly seek reassurance. A man who moves through life with calm confidence stands out. His mind is clear, his intentions are deliberate, and his actions are measured. This creates a subtle but powerful emotional signal. He is in control, he is capable, and he can be trusted. This is not superficial charm. This is an evolutionary response. People are drawn to those who demonstrate stability and strength, and nothing communicates this more effectively than a man who does not need to prove himself. But let's be clear, this is not an overnight transformation. Cultivating confidence and presence requires conscious effort. It begins with self-reflection, understanding who you are, what you stand for, and what you will no longer tolerate in your life. It requires discipline to act according to your values even when the world challenges them. It demands that you embrace your age, your experiences, and your journey rather than seeing them as limitations. The older man who has done this radiates authenticity, and authenticity is magnetic in a way that no cosmetic or fashion trend can replicate. Part of emotional control that younger men usually lack this confidence also comes from emotional mastery. A good-looking, older man does not react impulsively. He does not overcompensate with humor, status, or material possessions. He has learned that true power lies in restraint, in measured action, and in the ability to respond rather than react. This does not make him cold, it makes him formidable. People, particularly women, sense this emotional intelligence. It communicates security, dependability, and strength, qualities that transcend superficial attraction and create a deep, enduring magnetism. Finally, consider the philosophical depth of confidence and presence. To move through life with assurance is to embrace reality without fear. It is to acknowledge that time passes, that youth fades, that circumstances are unpredictable, yet your essence remains intact. It is a form of freedom, a liberation from the need for approval, the fear of rejection, and the anxiety of comparison. And in this liberation, a man discovers a kind of beauty that no mirror can reflect, no compliment can reinforce, and no external validation can enhance. It is beauty rooted in self-possession, wisdom, and dignity. So, if you take one thing from this, let it be this. Being a good-looking older man is not about chasing validation, grooming obsessively, or trying to look younger than your years. It is about cultivating confidence, mastering presence, and owning yourself fully in every moment. Walk into a room with calm assurance, speak with intention, move with purpose. Trust that your life, your experience, and your character communicate far more than any appearance ever could. When you do this, you do not need to ask if you are attractive. The world will tell you quietly but unmistakably every single day. Remember this: confidence is not loud, presence is not forced, and true attractiveness is not conditional. It is earned through self-mastery, emotional intelligence, and an unwavering commitment to yourself. Walk your life. The style and grooming details that elevate your appeal. Like this, and not only will you be seen as good-looking, you will be felt as unforgettable. The second sign that marks a truly good-looking older man is his wisdom, his emotional intelligence, and his unwavering sense of purpose. While the world around us often obsesses over superficial appearances, these qualities operate on a deeper, almost magnetic level. They are invisible, yet they are felt by everyone who crosses your path. You see, youth can impress, beauty can attract, but it is wisdom and emotional mastery that hold attention and command respect. A man who has lived, who has experienced life in its highs and lows, carries with him a kind of authority that cannot be faked, and this authority is inherently attractive. Wisdom is not measured by the number of books you have read, nor by the breadth of knowledge you can recite. True wisdom is the ability to understand life, people, and yourself with clarity. It is the capacity to see patterns where others see chaos, to predict reactions not because you control them, but because you understand the fundamental nature of human behavior. A good-looking older man knows that people are complex, that situations are rarely black and white, and that the world is full of contradictions. Yet, he navigates it all with calm discernment. There is a power in this understanding that goes far beyond the surface. It draws people to you without effort because they sense, even if subconsciously, that you are not easily shaken, that your mind is grounded, and that your insight is reliable. Closely tied to wisdom is emotional intelligence. Many men mistake confidence for charm and experience for authority. But emotional intelligence is what separates those who are merely noticed from those who are deeply respected and desired. An older man who possesses emotional intelligence understands his own emotions fully. He does not suppress them, but he also does not express them, not let them control him. He recognizes when to act and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain silent. He perceives the emotions of others with clarity, not to manipulate, but to respond with empathy and intelligence. How experience makes you sexually attractive without trying. This ability creates a magnetic presence that attracts people naturally because they feel safe, understood, and inspired in his presence. Women especially are drawn to a man who can navigate the emotional world with ease, who can handle tension with grace, and who can communicate deeply without resorting to games or posturing. Purpose is the third pillar that reinforces this magnetic appeal. Many men lose themselves in routine, in survival, or in the pursuit of fleeting pleasures. But the older man who is genuinely attractive is driven by something greater than momentary satisfaction. He has a clear understanding of his mission in life, what he wants to achieve, why he exists, and how he intends to leave a mark. Purpose is visible in the way he moves, the decisions he makes, and the intensity with which he approaches each day. A man with purpose does not rely on external validation because his sense of self-worth is tied to his actions and his principles, not to the fleeting opinions of others. This kind of clarity is magnetic. It signals to the world that he is not a passive participant in life but a force of deliberate action, and that is profoundly attractive. Let's pause and consider the psychological depth of these qualities. Humans are wired to respond to competence, reliability, and emotional stability. In a world of uncertainty, people unconsciously gravitate toward those who demonstrate mastery over themselves and their environment. A man who is emotionally intelligent and purpose-driven communicates that he is someone who can be trusted, someone who can handle challenges without collapsing, and someone whose life is aligned with meaning rather than chaos. This alignment is more attractive than any physical feature because it promises security, understanding, and a sense of shared strength. But none of this comes without intentional growth. Wisdom, emotional intelligence, and purpose are cultivated over time. They require reflection on one's experiences, both successes and failures, and the humility to learn from them. They require emotional honesty, the courage to face your fears, your regrets, and your weaknesses without denial. And they require deliberate action to live consistently according to your values, to invest in relationships that matter, and to pursue goals that resonate with your deeper sense of meaning. This is not easy and it is not instantaneous, but the rewards are profound when your conversational energy matters more than looks cultivated. These qualities radiate outward in subtle ways. The tone of your voice, the calm in your eyes, the clarity in your decisions. People feel it, and it shapes how they perceive you long before they notice the superficial. Moreover, emotional intelligence and purpose are deeply intertwined. A man who understands himself emotionally is better equipped to pursue his goals without distraction, to lead with clarity rather than ego, and to inspire others rather than intimidate them. His decisions are not impulsive or reactive, they are intentional and measured. And this intentionality is attractive because it signals that he is reliable, grounded, and aligned with a higher vision. Women and people in general are instinctively drawn to this kind of energy because it promises depth, stability, and connection. It is a type of power that is quiet but absolute, irresistible yet unassuming. Finally, consider the philosophical depth of these qualities. Life does not reward beauty or youth forever. It rewards understanding, resilience, and alignment with purpose. The older man who embodies wisdom, emotional intelligence, and purpose has transcended superficial standards. He understands that true attractiveness is not a function of looks or charm. It is a reflection of the life he has lived, the lessons he has learned, and the integrity with which he navigates the world. This is the kind of presence that does not fade with age. It only grows stronger and more compelling. So, if you take one lesson from this segment, let it be this. Your attractiveness as an older man is inseparable from your wisdom, your emotional intelligence, and your sense of purpose. Cultivate them relentlessly. Reflect on your experiences. Master your emotions and define your mission. Walk through life with clarity and intentionality. When you do not need to chase validation or impress anyone. Your life, your understanding, and your energy will communicate to the world that you are a man worth noticing, remembering, and admiring. Remember, this attractiveness is not in the face, it is in the mind, it is not in the youth, it is in the depth of your experience, and it is not fleeting. It is enduring, growing, and transformative. Cultivate it, honor it, and let it define the man you have become. The third and perhaps most profound sign that you are a good-looking older man is your authenticity and self-respect. Everything we've discussed so far, confidence, presence, social dominance without aggression, wisdom, emotional intelligence, purpose, leads inevitably to this. The older man who is truly magnetic is the one who has stopped performing for others and has started living for himself. He does not apologize for his choices, his age, or the life he has led. He does not shrink to fit someone else's expectations, nor does he compromise his values to gain approval. Authenticity is a rare quality in a world full of pretense, and it is inherently attractive. Being authentic is not merely about being yourself in the casual sense. It is about embracing every part of who you are, the experiences, the flaws, the triumphs, the scars, and carrying them with quiet dignity. It is about recognizing that your age, your journey, and even your imperfections are not weaknesses. They are the proof of a life fully lived. When a man embodies this, it shows in subtle but unmistakable ways in the way he walks, the calm in his voice, the steadiness of his gaze. People sense it immediately. Women especially are drawn to authenticity because it signals emotional safety and integrity. There is no pretense, no hidden agenda, no need to guess who this man really is. What you see is what you get. And that transparency is magnetic. Self-respect is the other side of this coin. A good-looking older man does not allow others to define his worth. He maintains boundaries. He chooses carefully what and whom he allows into his life, and he honors himself in every decision. This is not arrogance. It is a refusal to compromise one's integrity. It is the understanding that how you treat yourself sets the standard for how others will treat you. When a man carries himself with this level of respect, it communicates strength, stability, and value without the need for words. People are drawn to it because it reflects a man who has mastered himself, and in doing so commands admiration. Consider the psychology behind authenticity and self-respect. Human beings are subconsciously attuned to honesty and integrity. We respond to those who are secure in themselves because they provide a sense of stability in a chaotic world. Conversely, pretense, neediness, and overcompensation create tension, confusion, and unease. A man who has embraced authenticity radiates calm, reliability, and trustworthiness. He does not seek validation through appearances, status, or superficial charm, because he knows that his value comes from within. That certainty, that inner security, is one of the most attractive qualities a man can possess. But embracing authenticity requires courage. Society constantly pressures men to conform, to chase youth, to perform in ways that are often shallow or superficial. To resist these pressures and stand firm in your truth is a radical act. It requires the discipline to reject societal expectations that do not serve you, the confidence to embrace your age and experiences, and the wisdom to understand that external validation is fleeting and often misleading. Every choice you make in alignment with the final hidden sign. Only top-tier older men possess values reinforces your authenticity, and with it your magnetic appeal grows stronger. This also extends to how you live your life day to day. Authenticity is reflected in the way you communicate the decisions you make and the energy you carry. A man who is authentic does not exaggerate, does not manipulate, and does not perform for attention. He speaks with honesty, acts with purpose, and moves through the world with a sense of calm integrity. Women in particular are drawn to this energy because it communicates emotional safety and stability. They feel they can trust a man who is unapologetically himself. And trust is an invisible yet powerful magnet for connection and attraction. Self-respect also shapes relationships and interactions. A man who respects himself does not tolerate disrespect, does not compromise his principles for short-term gain, and does not allow external circumstances to dictate his self-worth. He sets standards not out of ego, but out of self-awareness and integrity. This creates an invisible framework around him. People instinctively sense that he will not settle, that he values himself, and that he expects others to treat him accordingly. This is an energy that cannot be manufactured, bought, or mimicked. It is earned, cultivated, and maintained through years of self-mastery. Philosophically, authenticity and self-respect are the culmination of a life well lived. They reflect a man who has faced challenges, learned from failures, and emerged with clarity about who he is and what he values. They reflect a man who understands that attractiveness is not defined by looks, wealth, or fleeting charm, but by the integrity, courage, and presence he brings into every interaction. Age amplifies this appeal because it signals experience, resilience, and a life aligned with principle rather than pretense. This is why older men who embrace authenticity are not just noticed, they are remembered. So, if you take one lesson from this, let it be this. Being a good-looking older man is not about chasing validation, following trends, or pretending to be someone you are not. It is about cultivating authenticity, embracing your life fully, and honoring yourself with unwavering self-respect. Walk through the world with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are. Speak, act, and live in alignment with your values. Let your life reflect integrity, your choices reflect wisdom, and your presence reflect authenticity. When you do, you closing insights from Sardaya do not need to ask whether you are attractive. The world will feel it, notice it, and remember it. Remember this authenticity and self-respect or invisible powers that define the truly magnetic man. They are earned through reflection, courage, and a commitment to your own life. They outlast youth, fashion, and fleeting appearances. They grow stronger with time. Stand firm in your truth. Honor yourself and move through life in a way that is unapologetically yours. This is not just attractiveness.